Welcome everyone. Today's video is all about Acers. So I'm going to show you and tell you how you care for them, what soil they require, what position they require in your garden. That's really important to a very happy Acer, and all that sort of good stuff. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. So Japanese maples, or Acer palmatums as they are labelled, are actually really easy to care for. There's only a few simple steps that you have to really take in order to keep these guys happy. So the biggest one this time of year is actually wind. Now I know that sounds kind of funny, but they're very sensitive to the wind, and what can happen is you can actually get like a scorch on top of the leaves and it will just knock off that fresh growth. Now it is worth mentioning, in the garden centres and superstores, like I've got mine, they actually will have been grown somewhere really warm, almost subtropical, in order to bring these guys on and get this growth. With that, it means that the growth on these are all quite tender. So there is something you can do to really help with that. And that is, when you've bought them, you actually bring them into your garden and you put them in a really sheltered spot. So what I always do, mine always go in the summer house or right next to the house. So what that does, that gives it its own microclimate, very similar to where they would have been grown in Europe. And it just helps that transition from out of the actual growers into your garden. That's a really important tip when it comes to any plant, really, not just these Acer palmatums. So the wind really does play a big factor as to how happy these are, particularly while these guys are quite young like these. They have come down massively in price, and I think that's due to, these were sold sort of 20 years ago as quite a slow growing tree, if you like, and almost like a dwarf tree. It's actually not the case. Now, I think people have genuinely cottoned on to, they are quite fast growing. So I visited a garden just yesterday, beautiful garden, Shane's. I'm very lucky to live not too far away from his, and he'd got a beauty of a Acer palmatum, very similar to this variety, this red variety just here, and it really inspired me to actually pick a couple up. Also, the £10 price label from Asda really played a part in that, and if you haven't seen that video already, I'll put the link down below, where they're actually stocking some fantastic plants at the moment, particularly Acers or Acer palmatums. So bear in mind the wind. So that's the first tip. When you get it, give it a little bit of protection. The other one is, if you're going to plant it in the ground, then brilliant, get it straight in the ground. I wouldn't worry too much about your soil type when it comes to going in the ground. You can buy what we call some ericaceous compost and dig a bigger hole than you need and pop some of that compost just in the hole, and then backfill it with your soil and some ericaceous compost. What that means is these are an acidic loving plant, so they need a lime-free soil in order to look really, really happy. And like I've just mentioned, if you're going into the ground, I wouldn't worry about that too much. But also, if you are planting in the ground, these can be quite wispy plants, so while they're young, you do need to give these a little bit of support, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. I'm not going to just simply pop a cane in and tie it up. I'm going to do something a little bit different to support it, and also show you guys a bit of a horticultural technique when it comes to staking any tree, and this is just a smaller version of that, so we'll go ahead and do that a little bit later on in the video. So once we've got it home and we've give it a day or two next to your house so it's a little bit warmer, and you're figuring out a spot, so the best thing I can recommend for these is either part sun, part shade, or a full shady spot. Now, the one thing with these, they don't like the morning sun. So what happens is, you can very often, like the wind, get scorched on top where they turn brown and you just lose that little bit of fresh growth. It doesn't kill it, but it certainly doesn't look the best. Best way to do that is split your garden into two. So if you're lucky enough to be at home at any point in the week or weekend, split your garden into 2 time zones, right? So you're talking from when you get up, whatever time that is, and I'm not judging you, up until 12 o'clock midday. look what your garden is and see where the sun is. What parts of the garden sit in full shade or part shade. That's what you're looking for. Them are your spots where these guys will be super happy. Then the other one is looking at the 12 o'clock till you go to bed, right? So what you want with those bit of times is it doesn't matter if these guys get that part of the sun, they just don't like the morning sun. Full shade though is an absolute winner, but if you haven't got that, and I appreciate some of you guys haven't got any shady spots because you'll have a south facing garden, you can always create some. And what I mean by that is you don't have to go to extravagant lengths like I have. So I've actually put a summer house up and it's created a really lovely dapple shade spot, and this is where one of these will be going. But there is things you can do to sort of help these guys out just a little bit, and I hope that makes sense. So if you are looking to get them in a pot and not put them in the ground, then as mentioned before, you do need an ericaceous compost. Again, that is it's an acidic loving plant, meaning it's a lime free soil. It's a lime that they don't like. Now, what I do with all of mine is I add a little bit of chicken manure in, so it's really high in nitrogen. These don't need anything fancy, so these don't flower, so you don't need anything like potash. Bloodfish and bone is always good, but if you just want to give it high nitrogen feed just to get it nice and big, then I'd highly recommend chicken manure, because it's full of nitrogen and it's readily available pretty much everywhere, and it's quite reasonable in price. So I think B&M have it from around £4.50 up to the garden centres with the big tubs, £22, all depending on your budget, right? So I hope we've covered some, if not all, of the care bases. And I don't do this very often. I normally just sort of tell you as I'm doing it, but I figured let's try something a bit different. Hopefully that makes sense to you. So let's get these, or particularly this one, in the ground, and I'll show you how to stake it, and stake it correctly without damaging any of this lovely root system, because that's one thing we don't want to do. Let's get cracking. So a big part of the inspiration for getting this maple just here is there's actually going to be a pond right where I'm stood, right off the decking. So I'm hoping to create a bit of a stream down the side, nice pond here, and I think the Acer palmatum is going to look absolutely fantastic. I've chose the red variety just to break some real difference compared to some of the palms that are going to go right next to it. So I've created a bit of a shape. I know what shape the pond wants to be in my mind, if that makes sense to you. So I'll go ahead, I'll do that, and then what we're going to do is get that planted, and then we're going to get it staked up. Like I say, this method can be used on any kind of tree, and what you really need to be doing is actually have the stake facing into the wind, tied up reasonably loosely with some good strong twine. Anyway, let's get cracking. So this will be coming up on a vlog anyway, but I'll be taking all of this stone, creating a big bed, and having the Wagnerianus trachycarpus, Wagnerianus palms just there. At this point, you want to dig the hole as big as you can get it, because you can always backfill with soil or some much needed ericaceous compost when it comes to these plants. I'm going to go ahead, plant it in, backfill it with soil, then we'll get on to actually staking it. And as you can see, the roots look absolutely great. No issues there. So I know some people do have issues buying like supermarket brand plants, but the quality really is great. They come from the same growers. You just have to get them while they're fresh in. Now what you do have to do is pick their best face. What I mean by that is I'm going to be looking at it from over there into this way. So we're going to give it a turn until we're happy with it. And I'm actually happy that way on. So I'll backfill it. Like I say, if I had ericaceous compost, I would go ahead and put a little bit of that in. If you're going into the ground, don't worry about it too much. It's going in a pot, you'll definitely need ericaceous compost. So as mentioned, the wind comes through this way. So we're going to be pointing into the wind just there. So to avoid any root damage, we're going to go right next to it. I'll get you a close up in a second, guys. I'll just simply tie that up with a little bit of twine just to keep the worst of the wind off it. One of the best buys I had from B&M. I think that cost me £4 about 2 years ago. Absolute bargain. Still plenty more life left in it as well. So moving on to pots. Now you really want something double the size for these plants. Anything bigger than that, then you'll simply lose the nutrients in the compost because they'll get washed through with natural rain and then when you're actually watering these plants. Twice the size. As discussed, you want an ericaceous compost to keep these guys happy. Actually, I haven't got any, but I'm going to go ahead and put just normal garden soil in. So I feed my soil all the time, so I know it's really high in nutrients and it will be just fine. What I probably will do is I'll go ahead and I'll buy some ericaceous osmocot, which is like a slow release fertilizer what you just simply sprinkle on every other week or once a month, and it'll keep these guys happy in a shady spot. It's going onto my decking area and I think it's going to look really nice. Just appreciate how lovely these pots are. I was very lucky to have these gifted to me by Julie. Julie, thank you very much. They've already been featured with my clematises, but it ties them in lovely on the same decking area. Let's get this planted. So when taking plants out of pots, and I don't want to tell anyone how to suck eggs, but there's a little bit of a technique. What can happen is if you pull on the stem, you can actually disturb the roots and it doesn't get your plant off to the best start, right? So all you need to do, put your fingers out on your hand and actually place them in between the stem. Turn it upside down. This one hasn't got quite as good as a root system as the other one, but still pretty decent. What you're looking for, because this has actually still got the original grow port in just here, is you need that to be underneath the soil without covering up the stem too much. This is just to give it some stability in its pot. Now, I bet you don't see Monty Don do that, do you? Dig up garden soil and use in the pots. I am very much a budget-friendly gardener. There's nothing wrong with this as long as you add nutrients to it. So I'm not ashamed to do that. In fact, it'll work really well. I'm actually going to go ahead, give this a nice big handful of chicken manure, full of nitrogen, help push out some lovely fresh growth. Then I just need to give this a really good water, put it in position, and then just enjoy it. there we have it. I hope you enjoyed it. So up and coming weekend for me, going to be getting these lovely Trachycarpus wagneranus into this, it's not even a bed yet, is it? Into this space just here. And then we're going to do some lovely underplanting with some lovely plants that Shane gave me. But I'm really happy about that. I feel really good about it. It's going to get nice and tall. It's going to sort of overlook the pond area where you're currently sat with the camera. And I feel really good about it. And also, just want to take this opportunity to say thank you so much for everybody who's subscribed recently, who comments, who likes, who shares. I really appreciate that. And without sounding too dramatic, it feels like it's really changing my life, and I can't thank you enough. But if you did enjoy it, then please give it a big thumbs up, as it really does help the channel out, and drop a comment down below, as like you guys do. And until tomorrow, I'll see you in the garden. You take care.